Sometimes I love you.
Boom.
Sometimes you make me blue.
Blue. I keep on falling.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, welcome to the podcast. Movies, TV, and games. How's it going? We're not the Alicia Keys podcast.
We are fools, and we admit it.
We probably could be an Alicia Keys podcast if we really tried.
Yeah, this
I'm
isn't
not sure
to be
they have much to
confused.
contribute.
Yeah, this isn't to be confused with the Alicia Keys podcast. Link in the bio.
The official Alicia Keys podcast. We're back.
The AP.
We're back, guys.
Alicia
It's
Keys
been a while
podcast.
since we've podcasted for Rizzle. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you guys.
We've been out of the cast.
Like, I was talking to someone, or I was on the way to Disney, and I was talking to my friend Doug, and I just, was ranting the entire time about movies. Not angry ranting, but just, ranting and just talking about movies and stuff for, so the entire ride there. Amber was obviously
It's in
bored
your
out of her
blood.
mind because I just wouldn't stop. It's just,
It's inside you, man.
it's because I
You
had
gotta
a
let
week
it out.
without you guys. That's what it is.
Hasn't been 2 weeks?
Has it been 2 weeks? Oh,
I don't
dear
think we did
Lord.
one the week before that one.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I forgot, guys.
We haven't
I'm sorry.
updated Facebook. We've been behind.
We've been
I'm
very
sorry,
behind.
everyone.
We're very sorry.
We're still here.
But we're
still
back.
alive.
We're back, and we're still
We're here to cast out to you
you.
our thoughts
We've watched
on the news.
I feel like a lot of time's been gone by, and so there's a lot we've been watching / playing. Maybe
We have not been lazy.
we haven't been lazy.
We've been entertaining ourselves.
well, we have
just for
been
you.
lazy, just sitting there watching.
We've been
television
entertaining
and
ourselves
playing video games, but
to get material.
absolutely. Luke, why don't you tell us what you've been watching / playing? I think it's going to be very similar to what I've been watching / playing, so I'm going to kind of bounce off. We'll all bounce off each other.
When we have these hiatuses, I really feel like I forget so much of what I watch. So I'm just gonna cut the fat off and get right down to the meat here. At least the important things for me. Since only one of us, I think, has done this with me. I'll start with Battlefront. The Battlefront beta was this past weekend. It ran, I think Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday,
Real
they extended
short
it,
one.
actually.
Of course, I didn't get on, so I didn't get to play any of those
Oopsie
extra
daisy.
days, but I did play a couple days, probably 3 or 4 hours collectively, and got a good taste of it. Wish I'd gotten to play more, but got a good taste of it. This is a game I've been looking forward to for quite a while, pretty much since it was announced. A game that we played actually at Andrew's house when we were young children on the original Xbox. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we're
Wow.
high schoolers. I don't know about young
So
children.
far ago.
but-
Compared to now, we were young childlings.
Like over
Next,
10
move,
years.
move on. I don't like talking
It was
about
long ago.
Over 10 years ago.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was a game that I
Mortality.
have fond memories of playing with my buddies, is what I'm trying to say.
Uh-huh.
And so something that I've really been looking forward to, and I think looking forward to probably more than I should have. I'll be honest. After playing the beta, I have hyped this game up a little bit more than it should have been hyped. And that is not to say that I was disappointed. It's just to say that I felt that I had gotten myself a little too excited, and it was almost to that level where it was like, this game is going to be the most amazing thing to ever touch this earth. And it was not that in any way.
no.
It was, for me, it was a good start. And I'll say right off the bat, one of the most amazing things that this game does is just hit it out of the park with how it feels. Like, it feels like you're in Star Wars, from the way the blasters fire to the way the AT-STs, AT-ATs move, the way the battlefield's laid out. It felt to me like you were interjected right into the scene of the movie and really got, an interactive view of that. Probably things that I disliked quickly. I didn't feel like I got enough times when I got to use the vehicles. I felt like the heroes were completely random and not earned whatsoever, which I really feel like the best players should be able to play as the heroes. That's just, I think in any game, the players who do well, who perform well, should be able to get the rewards. And those who don't perform well, I'm sorry, you need to get better. And that's clearly not the way they award anything from vehicles to heroes. It's just random at this point. I mean, it's a beta, obviously, so it's still sort of early. I mean, honestly, it's barely a month away, but yeah, it's early, and hopefully they'll make some of the changes that some of the people have been talking about. Jordan, I know you've been playing some of this.
Yeah,
What do you think?
Had a couple sit downs with it. I played I think mostly what it had to offer, which was mainly just a few modes. It had like the two main massive multiplayer shootout war modes, which is the one in Hoth and the one in I don't know where that other location is. I'm gonna be honest.
One was Drop Pod.
Yeah,
I think that was the name of it. And the other one.
So I'll start with
Something.
positive. I mean, right off the bat, it's beautiful. The presentation's gorgeous. I think it's one of the prettiest games I've played, and it looks incredibly like the movie. And the music is awesome, of course. And the gameplay is, it feels fine. But when at the end of the day, after playing this beta, I was kind of amazed that for me, this is a very personal thing because I'm not huge on first-person shooter multiplayer. Everyone knows that who know me that I'm like a story guy when it comes to video games. I have to be pulled into a world, and even though I know this world of Star Wars, for some reason I felt unattached, like dropping into the battle and just randomly going, being like, "Get him!" Or I just felt not attached. I didn't have any sort of like, oh yeah, let's do it to it. Even when it games like Halo, where in that multiplayer, it's completely unattached. It's just you're a bunch of Master Chiefs killing each other. I still feel like it's wrapped around the cocoon of that universe in that story because it's told within that game. But even though Star Wars has its own universe and story, and this is the Battle of Hoth is obviously directly out of Empire Strikes Back. For some reason, I felt unattached, and I was I came to realize I don't know if this is for me. I remembered, even though it looks amazingly like Star Wars and it's beautiful and I love that, I don't know if it's my kind of game, and I don't think I'm going to pre-order it or get it really. I mean, I'll probably come over to Luke's house to play it or watch him play it or something like that.
I'm hoping they add some cutscenes and stuff to make it kind of ease your way into it. I'm thinking the beta. I'm hoping the beta is kind of like I was saying, they've cut all the fat. They just said, okay, here's the gameplay. Let's push these servers. Let's break them and then let's fix them.
Yeah, that's a good hope. I mean,
that might help with that.
For people who are really into multiplayer first-person shooters, and Star Wars, I'd feel like this is great.
This is also third person, just to be clear. You can switch. But
that's true. I keep forgetting
most people
about
probably
that.
don't.
I always forget about that. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously nice and is doing what it's trying to do, and it's doing it well. So I'm interested to see what the full game looks like, to be honest. But yeah, what else you got?
The Walking Dead premiered, new season,
Sure did.
Season 6. This is a show that I've said before, probably my favorite show on TV right now that's airing, and it continues to be that for me, episode after episode. The directors and the writers they impress me. There's other shows that have aired that I think would be better, but currently airing, it's just, to me, it's the most enjoyable show to sit down. I really get wrapped into the story and where they're going with it. I like the variety that episodes bring. It's not always the same format. I don't know if they bring, different creative teams in to kind of help mix that up. I know that there are the two main director and producer. I'm blanking on their name right now, but I know that those guys, really power this film and its story. But it just, it's amazing to me that if it is just those two, how unique that season to season and even sometimes episode to episode it can be. It can, feel like they're kind of telling a story from slightly different angle than they were, maybe a couple episodes ago. And that's something that I thought was true in the season premiere. It was, uniquely told, and they used a black and white element that was, not unique or original, but I thought it fit well with the episode. And just, it was one thing, Bethany had mentioned to me. She said, this wasn't a big exciting episode. She said something to that rate, and I said, yeah, you were right. And then as I thought about that, I was like, but it didn't really have to be. It was where the story is right now. It's in my mind, kind of a transition of some leadership things and some trust. And, you know, I'm trying not to give anything away here for people who haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, catch up. It's worth seeing. But yeah, it did some transition things. It did something much different than like the season premiere of season 5 and the season, you know, ending of season 5. Like those were very in your face, like bloody, crazy, exciting, twisty kind of things. And this was, you know, this is a story we want to tell. We want to tell it in this fragmented way. And I thought it did what it came to do. And I'm excited for the rest of the season.
I agree with you. I'm there right with her with you. I'm excited. Walking Dead's back, and it you know, pulls me in like always. And it's awesome to watch it with you guys, watch it here, watch it in a group, and just react throughout it. I think it's so much fun. One thing I will say is, like, the more I hear about them kind of saying, oh, we'll just go and go as a, you know, show and series, like saying we'll have 12 seasons, that's maddening to me. I feel like seeing a story like this that has like no end in sight does make me nervous, and I feel like a lot of people are maybe feeling like this. Just to mention, I mean, the ratings were huge, but they were a dip in ratings for this season premiere. So I don't know. We'll see. But
it didn't seem like it was publicized very well.
No, it snuck up on me.
Very well.
It snuck on me like hardcore, and like with Fear the Walking Dead being around, I was like, and it like just ended as soon as Walking Dead started. I was like, oh my god, already. And so,
and I think honestly, it actually took away from it a little bit. The Fear the Walking Dead. I don't know how much it added to it. Like Fear the Walking Dead did so well. I mean, this is just my feeling. I don't know, but it just felt like people watched that show and didn't really say, "Oh, now I want to watch The Walking Dead."
Like, oh, I kind of got my fix of The Walking Dead at that for that. Yeah, that's a good point.
They seem like very different shows too.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about The Martian? I know.
Let's do it.
We all watched it. We didn't do a spoiler cast on it. It kind of flew us by, but what did we think? What did we think of The Martian? Luke, go ahead and start.
Man, this is a movie I'd love to do a spoiler cast and really get into the nitty gritty of, but I will try to keep it spoiler free. Just overview. Wow, that would be the word for this movie. I was interested in it. This isn't one like Interstellar that I was looking forward to for 16 months or something, and was just so excited about it. It was very similar to Interstellar in that it really was a movie that appeals to me. Deep space, exploration, adventure, and on top of that, the science element, which I really enjoy seeing technology and science, just pushed to their limits. And I really enjoyed this movie. I thought Matt Damon did a great job. He's not always my favorite actor, but man, he nailed the part, and it was just shot really well. And I think, I don't know, I have almost nothing but high praise for this movie. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was an adventure, and I got into it and really liked it. I highly recommend it.
What'd you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I thought pretty similar to what Luke got out of it. I mean, I had kind of mid-level expectations because I wasn't blown away by Interstellar, really. I mean, Interstellar was kind of one of those. Interstellar and Gravity had a baby, and it was probably Ridley Scott's adaptation of this movie. It's kind of like it's a movie that puts you on edge. I think that I would probably, out of a 10-star rating, probably give it maybe a 7 for me, but just because it was good it was just good. It wasn't like a movie that blew my socks off. Like I took my socks off in the theater and threw it at the screen because I was so happy. But it was a movie that was executing really well what they were trying to do. I thought that it was a little bit too predictable for my taste. But, that being said, I thought it was a really good movie. Matt Damon did a great job. Seemed like a part that like they offered to Leonardo DiCaprio or something. Yes. And he like turned down, and then Matt Damon was like, oh, Leonardo turned it down? I got to do it. Maybe. I don't know. But
maybe.
Yeah, what do you think, Jordan? What were your takeaways?
I think I'm right in the middle of you guys. Like honestly, I hate to be that guy, but like I'm a little bit warmer on it than you are. I mean, I know you thought it was good, but I thought it was very. I came out of that movie being like, that was very good. What an enjoyable movie. Like that was like literally my tone after seeing it. I'm like, man, what a good watch. Like something like that. Like really enjoyed that. Love to see it again. Great. Like I wasn't blown away, as you said, Andrew, but I was very much like, what a very good movie. It was surprising. In ways, it was kind of a breath of fresh air because like a lot of movies like this and that are around like Gravity and Interstellar, like very harrowing, very dire movies. And not to give anything away, but The Martian isn't that. It isn't that. It doesn't have that feel at all. It's extremely funny, actually. I mean, not extremely funny, but there's a lot of funny moments. And it's like almost more funny moments than there are serious moments.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that. I was like, wow.
I think I'll cut you off for 1 second, but I think
Yeah,
that this movie for me is like this summer's Edge of Tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like last summer, Edge of Tomorrow came out, and it was like a pleasant surprise. I left the theater thinking similar things to what you're saying. Like I laughed more than I thought I would in that movie, and it hit me in a different way than I was expecting. And that last summer, that was definitely the surprise for me. And I think so far this summer that The Martian has probably been that kind of like, oh yeah, kind of movie.
I really appreciated that. Really, I mean, I'm not like, it was just nice to have something different because like, not to spoil anything, but we saw Matt Damon secluded on another planet last year. And so it was kind of like, you're feeling a little bit of the similarities, but like watching this movie, it was like, this is something different. This is, enjoyable in a different way. So yeah, I really liked it. I'm definitely going to see it again at some point when it comes out on Blu-ray. So yeah, good movie.
Indeed.
Andrew, we've been watching / playing.
Right off the bat, we all got together a few nights ago and we're trying to watch Halloween movies or scary movies.
Yeah.
And like you both probably know my stance pretty well because we've watched a lot of we went through the 8 films to die for. We went through all these we've seen some pretty horrible scary movies,
Yeah.
And I was looking through and it's like you can't find anything on Netflix above a 2-star rating in this genre. And if it's above a 2-star rating, it's a thriller. It's not a horror movie, Yeah. So anyway, we all got together. We watched Sleepy Hollow. A lot of people hadn't seen it. So we watched Sleepy Hollow. It's a great movie,
I like Sleepy Hollow. It's strange, but I like it.
It is. I mean, it's Tim Burton, but it's not quite. It's like half Burton, if that makes sense.
He's at half Burton.
Yeah, he's at half Burton in this movie. He's not all out. He's not pulling a full Burton. I mean, it has the elements like Johnny Depp acting weird, and then huge, I would say borderline all-star cast. I mean,
yes.
I mean, when you have Christopher Walken playing a headless horseman, come on. He has 0 lines. Exactly. So, Danny Elfman doing the soundtrack. It's a half Burton, but really enjoyed it. We went from that to watching Saw. And
I haven't seen that in a long time.
You should rewatch it because it's really good. I mean, Saw, the acting is what the acting is, and it's a horror. I mean, it's a horror movie. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. When he starts freaking out, Carrie Ells. But that's a great movie. And really, when we all saw that, I remember when we saw that movie the first time, what a groundbreaking, so to speak, movie. Kind of in the way The Sixth Sense was for that genre. Saw was in a lot of ways, I think, for the really pushing the limits of what people were going to do. And then obviously they kept pushing the limit and took it way too far. But the first Saw is a good movie. Really entertaining. Then obviously, I don't know. Can we give spoilers? I mean, that's past. This is past.
This is so old. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. If you haven't seen Saw, what's wrong? Well, actually, kudos to you. So, right at the end, I watched it with a couple people that had never seen it. And so, it was me and Taylor. Taylor had seen it, but she like forgets movies immediately after seeing them. So every time it's like a fresh watch, which must be nice for her because she was horrified. Like she was shaking, and the people like right at the end where, oh, the key to that is in the bathtub. And then he gets down and he's like, game over. That whole scene, like I looked over just to, you know how like when you show somebody a YouTube video that you think is funny and you're like gauge their response. I like looked over video. And they like were, he was
satisfying.
Oh yeah, it's great because you know it's coming the whole time, and then boom. Like, there's a new season of Portlandia on Netflix. Watch that. That show cracks me up, but it's one of those. It's kind of like SNL because there's really like one funny bit an episode that's really really funny, and the rest is kind of like you feel like it's an inside joke. Yeah. That you just really don't get, so it makes you feel awkward. The last thing that I've been watching is Legends.
Sean Bean, right?
Yeah, I'm a serial show starter. Like that's my thing. Like I've seen every single show for one episode or two episodes.
A lot of good has come out of that. Andrew. Don't be
ashamed. Can talk to anybody about almost any show.
For the first episode.
The pilot. I feel like that should be my job. Like I should be paid by networks to watch pilots of shows. Because this show will be canceled. If it's not already canceled, like I need to make some phone calls because it's
I think it might be.
I feel like he's just trying, this is like a prequel to him helping Frodo destroy the ring. Like he can't be a leading man in a TV show. I'm sorry.
I mean, I watched the pilot back in the day. It was actually I was on a cruise, and the pilot actually aired on that television they had there in our little cabin. But nothing special. I mean, what can I say? Just nothing special.
The best way to describe it is like I want movie quality acting in a TV show. And I think that's the standard that we've come to like accept. Just as like, The Walking Dead is selling me an outlandish concept, but it's like movie quality across the board. And Legends is
HBO and Netflix are like doing that for us, so it's kind of hard to go back.
Legends aired on TNT. Is that where it aired? Or
I don't even know.
And it was disappointing because the people who made Homeland, the producers of Homeland, made the show, and wow, what a fall for a producer of Homeland to like make this. But anyway, 2 thumbs down on that one.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Sorry, Bean. Sean. It's not good unless you die in it, I guess. But your character, we like you, Sean Bean. Just,
Yeah, I like you as a guy. He's probably really nice, but maybe a different. Maybe when they revamp Lord of the Rings,
you just come back.
Yeah, he's been in other good movies, but Jordan.
Wait, no, he was in The Martian.
Exactly.
We forgot about that.
But he was like, he was borderline. There was moments where you were like, one does not simply go into Mordor. Like one does not simply.
The Lord of the Rings was referenced in the movie very bluntly as a joke, but yeah,
about him. But Jordan, tell us about what you've been watching / playing / feeling about what you've been watching and playing.
All right, I'll start off. I've watched a bunch of Halloween stuff. I like being festive when like any holiday rolls around and like kind of. But first off, I'm not gonna talk at length about a lot of it. Like I've been watching because of FX X or whatever, FX Now or whatever. I've been watching all of the Treehouse of Horror Simpsons episodes and loving those. Those are some of the best episodes of The Simpsons, I think, just because you're just outlandish, like insane. Also, last night I watched The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's version.
The Shinin.
Speaking of Treehouse of Horror, great movie. One of the best horror movies ever made. I think it's really good. Just really kind of just creepy. It's not really like horrifying. Like there's not a lot of jump scares. There's not a lot of like horrifying things happening. It just puts you on edge, and I think it's a good movie. But the movies that I really wanted to talk about, actually, first off, I watched this movie on Netflix. We were trying to go through like, what's a horror movie that I haven't seen? And there's this movie on Netflix called Housebound. It's actually not just a full horror. It's a horror comedy. It's funny as well. It's not like Shaun of the Dead level comedy, but it's pretty funny, and it's a New Zealand made movie. It's good. And I'm actually finding it hard to describe the movie. I mean, the premise is a troubled girl who life of crime or whatever, and she gets caught and she gets put in a house arrest with the whole ankle bracelet and everything, with her parents out in like the boonies in her home, at her like old home that she hasn't been to in a while, and it's just awkward. And then strange stuff starts to happening. It's like, is it supernatural? Is it something where someone's messing with them? You don't really know until the end conclusively, but it's not like that. Like it's more interesting than like something like a lot of other horror comedies. It actually is trying to tell an original story, which I commend it for. And the thing about it is I don't feel like it's as funny or as scary as it could be, but it is funny and scary at moments. And I feel like that's, I got to give hats off for being both. I mean, even though it's not very scary or very funny, it is funny and scary. I'll give it that. Now, if you're looking for something different, like this Halloween, and you want to watch, it's just a horror comedy.
Strange.
Yeah.
Like I'm just looking at the poster. It's hard for my mind to wrap around horror comedy.
Yeah, because honestly,
it looks like a horror.
Yeah, the picture looks like, I saw the poster or whatever. You'll see it on Netflix. It looks way scarier than it is, and it doesn't like. Interesting. Yeah, it actually like, it's funny because that like after, when you're in the middle of that movie, you don't see how that picture makes sense, but when the end of the movie happens, you're like, it makes complete sense, but in a completely different way than I thought. But no, I'm being very vague here intentionally, because honestly, there's a lot to spoil in this movie, because there's lots of twists, which is really weird. But if you want something different, check it out. I would recommend it. It's not amazing. Don't expect to get blown away, but something different for your horror watching or Halloween or whatever.
Your Halloween.
Your Halloween viewing. Secondly, I've revisited a movie that I've seen, Rosemary's Baby, made in the mid-'60s. It's one of those movies, mainly Manisha watched it. I feel like it's one of those movies that have spawned so many other movies like it, or like premises like it, that it kind of fails to feel original if it's something that you're only watching now. But in that sense, Rosemary's Baby isn't a horror movie. It's a suspense movie. It's almost it's like a mystery movie. It's not very scary. It's suspenseful, and it's still very good, I think. I mean, I remember the first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it. The second time, I was like, yeah, sure, this is good. Felt a little long, but it's good. But yeah, judging from how Manisha took it, she seemed to enjoy it. It's something to check out if you know the premise. It's a woman, Mia Farrow, is carrying the spawn of Satan within her unknowingly, and there's a plot that's wrapped around it and a bunch of conspiracies. But it's a engaging movie, I would say, and it's I'm sure at the time it was very different, but now it's kind of been done a lot. So yeah, I mean, whatever.
Wasn't there a TV show for a little while?
Was there?
Baby.
Yeah.
I don't remember. No, there was.
Yeah, I don't know if it was called Rosemary's
CBS
Baby
show or something,
but that was the premise of the movie or the TV show.
Okay. Well, anywho, so me and Carrie, I kind of wish he was here to talk about this, but me and Carrie on Sunday sat down to watch a movie I've been wanting to watch for a while, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F. Which, what this is, there's been tons of Dragon Ball Z movies throughout the years. Usually most of them are released onto DVD. This movie was released into theaters, and it's like, select theaters for a limited time. So very select, but it actually like did really well. It only cost like $3 million to make, and it made like way more than that. Probably I think like 50 million or something like that, which is great, judging from like it was only out for like a few days in a few theaters.
50
So that's
million.
remarkable.
Jeez.
Watching this movie was very satisfying for me as a Dragon Ball Z fan. Like, yeah, I'll say Dragon Ball Z fan, even though I'm not as big into it as I was when I was a kid, obviously. But like, it's very satisfying to watch because this is, out of all those other movies that came out, like the Broly movie and like the Tree of Might and all that stuff, those felt like specials where like they released them and they were like 50 minutes long. This is the first one that's actually a movie. It's an hour and 30 minutes long. It feels cinematic and it's very fan servicey and it's very fun to watch. And the animation is very, very good. Sure, if you're not in Dragon Ball Z, it still has the same goofiness and same craziness or whatever. But like the actions, I'd say it's a really good thing that like if you're were into Dragon Ball Z and you're into that, I guess this would be a great way to like come back to get your fix of Dragon Ball Z and be like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Z, good old Dragon Ball Z, because like it has everything that Dragon Ball Z is known for, but it's done very well. The action's very good, the story's good, and the humor's there too. So like, and if you were like, if I was to say, like if I had a friend who was curious about Dragon Ball Z and was like, I've never really watched it, what's it all about? I'd feel comfortable showing them that movie, being like, you like that, then you like Dragon Ball Z because this is what it's all about right here. And so well done. I was very pleased with it and very happy to watch it. I hope they make more of that. And I'm sure they will at this point, judging from how much it made. It's crazy. It actually did better than the widely released and widely panned critically Dragon Ball Evolution. It made more money than that, which, you know, that was actually a wide release from 2016.
I've got all the numbers here.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is pretty interesting. So it's $5 million to make.
$5 million
made 62.6 million.
It's crazy.
And it made 25 million in 19 days.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and it made its first 10 million in the first 6 days. 10.9 million in 6 days. Sold 1 million tickets by the end of the first week.
Awesome.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just a lot of fandom out there for that, and like, I feel like the movie certainly looked good from like the trailers. Like, wow, look at this animation! I've never seen this much polish in Dragon Ball Z, and so it was just really fun to see that, especially in like a full length movie. And yeah, it's like I never expected Dragon Ball Z to come back in the way that it has with this and with Dragon Ball Super, and it's really cool. I mean, like everything comes back, I guess, but you know. Anyways, what we've been watching / playing. Let's go into news. So first off, I'm actually really upset that Joe isn't here to talk about this because I'm sure he'd have a lot to say. So these aren't like confirmed, these are happening things, but it's pretty likely at this moment that Indiana Jones 5 is happening, and it will be starring Harrison Ford, and it will be directed by Steven Spielberg, at least in part. So I just there's not really much to say news-wise about that other than that's happening.
Other than God, no.
Yeah, okay.
Please, no.
So you're really
I just don't understand why. There's no need for this movie. There's no need for the last movie. There's no need for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is an issue that should have been put away a long time ago. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it. Steven Spielberg, in his old age, I think he's just making poor choices.
Oh, we'll see. That whole Spies movie or whatever came out. I'll see how that goes. Andrew, what are you thinking about Indy 5?
I'm excited. You know, I'm kind of I mean, Joseph is probably fuming mad, but he's probably. I'll speak for Joseph. This is Harrison Ford's in it. I'm gonna love it.
Yeah, right. That's bullcrap.
Yeah.
For as far as that, he's in so many crap movies.
That man is getting very old.
Oh yeah, he's getting old. Man,
he's angry at the world.
It's kind of like what Luke said. I don't know if I would trust Indiana Jones 5 with the person who made the other ones, which is ridiculous. But Indiana, like the first 3, legendary movies. The 4th one, you're kind of losing me. But, you know, it's kind of like anything else. If they're making money, they're never until Harrison Ford dies, and then Disney has the right. So there's no telling how many times they'll revamp this.
Oh my goodness!
They even talked apparently about Chris Pratt doing a revamp playing
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
We did have that story a while back.
So
I to be honest, it's like when I think about it, I don't want any of it. Like really, even when Crystal Skull came out, like I was younger and I was more naive, but like at the time I was like, oh cool, awesome, more Indiana Jones, sweet, everyone loves Indiana Jones. But like really, as a film series, it didn't make any sense for them to make it. Not at all. I mean, like I think it was obvious that The Last Crusade was a wonderful cap to the series, not only because of the quality of the movie, just because the feel of it. It was obvious.
The ending was
The
perfect.
ending and the freaking title, The Last Crusade. I mean, I know like Crusade because you know what the movie is about, but like it's just so unnecessary. And like I mean, that's our society. There's always going to be unnecessary sequels, but I just don't want it. I mean, yeah, like look on the positive side. I would like to have one last chance of redemption because I don't like beloved series ending on such a sour note. But I don't know if that could be accomplished to like have redemption for it. So
They should roll over it in some, just like they did the ET game. Just find all the copies and bury them deep in the earth.
I mean, it's like if this came out, I wouldn't be like I wouldn't be mad, but I don't see the point.
I would be.
Yeah,
I'm so done with this crap. I really enjoy these movies. They're some of my favorite. It may be my favorite series, and it frustrates me to no end. Like I think that the Indiana Jones trilogy just defines adventure
yeah,
in a movie, and
I just think there's so many other things you can do to have like another Indiana Jones type story without it being Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. And
that I agree with. Exactly.
Like don't make it Chris Pratt. I mean, Chris
Spin it
Pratt
off
is already Indiana Jones
and
twice.
have it some other thing that has to do with that. Like Star Wars is a perfect example of that. It's not those people, doing what they did way back then. It's new people that are related to that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Do something like that.
mhm.
Yeah, and like yeah.
And maybe they will do that.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Just first of all, don't
Shia
call
LaBeouf.
it Indiana Jones 5. That's one thing. Like tell me it is that. It's a spinoff. It has something to do with that. It's different, but I don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just a
You know.
rumor. Hopefully it's just a whispering in the wind.
Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like anything that's talked about enough will eventually get sprung to life by our modern Hollywood. For the most part, I mean, like it's not that whole theory isn't proven. I mean, we've been talking about it like an Akira movie for like years. And I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, but kind of like speaking of that, I was gonna talk about this later, but speaking of that, let's talk about what I had later. A King Kong versus Godzilla. This movie has been confirmed. It was rumored for a while as something like, oh yeah, they both have the rights to it now. They both WB is doing Skull Island and Legendary or whatever, and Godzilla. So are they gonna meet or whatever? And the answer is actually yes, they are. Their plan is to have the Skull Island movie come out, their King Kong reboot, I guess, or whatever, and then have the next year Godzilla 2. And then cap it off with Godzilla versus King Kong. So here's the question. How big are they going to make King Kong?
That's a
Be
big
the size of Godzilla's toe.
That's always been the problem. I mean, there's been a Godzilla versus King Kong movie before. It was by the same people who made the other original Godzilla movies, and for some reason King Kong was just giant in that one. And whatever, but I mean, we'll see.
The IGN thing said that they were gonna, or it wasn't IGN. There was another guy that said, I guess the rumor was that they were gonna use some kind of radiation something to grow him. They're gonna obviously do something like that. But
yeah,
I guess if you are really into this world, then you've just accepted the silliness of this world, and and by this world, I don't mean the world that we live in, but the world that apparently Godzilla and King Kong live in together. This fantasy land.
I mean, this is coming from like me. It's gonna be obvious for the person who liked Pacific Rim over Godzilla. the one that came out last year, was it, or was it? I don't know. But I
last year.
I liked Pacific Rim quite a bit more, and I didn't really like Godzilla that much. So for
and I
me,
like Godzilla more.
yeah,
Pacific
yeah,
Rim.
you like, I know most people do, but like I'm more into Godzilla versus King Kong more than Godzilla, like just if they were to do the Godzilla movie again, because like Godzilla was at like that movie was at its best towards the end when it got kind of like crazy and like Godzilla-y with like a monster mash, like, and that was when I was most on the movie. I was most like, yeah, okay, this is good, and the ending I really liked. But yeah, I mean, I'm for it, but it's silly, it's stupid, and I hope it knows that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you're making a Godzilla movie, then you're making a King Kong movie, then you're making, this is the monster world version of the Avengers.
Yeah,
They're creating their own universe, and what the heck, go for it.
Why not?
Why not? Why not?
And if these do well, we're gonna get Gamera and all the other Toho monsters out there. So
I think so.
yeah,
Why not?
probably. Why not? Anyways, so moving right along and singing our song. Next up, we have this is something I kind of wanted to mention. It's not really much to talk about, but it's another sequel that it has. Not only has the green light, but is starting to film in April, is the Kingsmen sequel.
No surprise.
Not a big surprise. It didn't do that great. For the original, didn't do that great, actually. So
But it was good.
it was good. We didn't really get a chance to talk about that movie that much. You watched it on my birthday in August. You watched it.
I
For
was
the first
so
time.
late.
It was
to
really
seeing
late.
this. Yeah,
But you enjoyed it.
definitely.
Have you seen that, Andrew?
Quality movie.
I have seen it. It was all right. Huh?
Yeah,
okay.
it's I guess if Kick-Ass can get a sequel, so can this, because I liked it, just as much as Kick-Ass, which I like Kick-Ass. So I mean, it's different, obviously, but yeah, I'd be into a sequel. I mean, it kind of sucks that obviously Colin Firth can't be in it, but because he was really awesome in that movie, he was like my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the kid was good though.
Yeah, I would have liked it probably best if it was just about Colin Firth being a secret agent who has like a superpowers or whatever training. I would have probably liked it better if he was just a gentleman like that. But then that idea would have made him James Bond, and then that idea would have been already done 1,000 times. So I
British
liked it.
Avengers basically as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there's a huge audience that will. I think Kingsman 2 prediction will do better than Kingsman, because I think a lot of people will be like, "Oh, what do you want to watch tonight, honey?" in the Red Box. Oh, I guess we'll try this movie. I heard it was okay from the people who saw it. I think Kingsman 2 will do a lot better than Kingsman.
I agree. I think I agree with that. I think Valentine's Day was a weird release time for the first Kingsman movie, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I release it in the summer, I think it'll do better, to be honest.
Do you guys want to talk about something that's really got my goat?
Yes, please.
Holy cow. I'm looking through our little movie news itinerary, and I am livid and also happy, but also mourning. There is another movie franchise that is bringing to life a prequel of one of our favorite heroes in the entire universe. Bruce Willis, John McCain, they're making another Die Hard.
Prequel Die Hard. Yep.
They're making another Die Hard. Did you guys already know this and talk about this already?
No, I forgot about it, actually. I did hear that, but it's like, just to our point, it's just like, how much can you milk it? How much?
That last one was so good, though. I mean, you had to follow it. You got to make another one.
Yeah, I just want to. Not to take too much time with this, but I just want to read you the beginning of this article about this. He's been harder, had a vengeance, lived free, and endured a not so good day as a part.
That's the same article I read.
Of the Die Hard series. But could Bruce Willis have at least one more Die Hard sequel in him? Fox certainly hopes so.
Oh my gosh.
I bet they do.
Anytime you say like a character like this and you say let's have him young and let's show his young adventure and let's make a obviously I am not a fan of prequels for the most part. There's been good prequels for sure. There has been at least a handful of good prequels, but I feel like most of them are garbage and I don't want anything to do with most of them. That's how I feel. I just hate, every time I cringe a lot of times when I hear prequel, and I no interest whatsoever. I haven't even seen A Good Day to Die Hard. That was enough for me, and I don't, and I am sure as heck not going to see a Die Hard prequel.
Such a waste of time. I fell asleep in the movie.
Gosh,
it was garbage.
I think this is Die Hard is one of like Die Hard to me. This is not completely true, but like Joseph and Luke are like huge Indiana Jones fans. I love the Die Hard trilogy so much, and I think this is really a waste of complete space and time and noise. And A Good Day to Die Hard, like I saw in theaters because I love Die Hard, but dang it, come on, seriously, let it die.
And honestly, like Live Free or Die Hard, I really enjoyed that movie, but I don't think it really fits with the trilogy. Like it should be like almost its own movie, just standalone. Like it's a good movie, but the other three, it's like you said, it's kind of like the Indiana Jones. Like they should stand alone. They should be their own thing. And then this thing, if you want to make it, that's fine, but make sure it's separated from that so it doesn't taint the name of the older movies.
That's the biggest curse of this franchise right now. If only Live Free or Die Hard, which again, I did enjoy that movie too. I found it fun. But if that movie didn't do well, we wouldn't have any of this. So it's like I almost like curse you, Live Free and Die Hard, even though you were pretty good.
Is Transformers.
Oh yeah,
we have this huge box office movie that's just a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
There's too many examples.
And at the same time, like. I like what they did. This could be like this entire show could be labeled like sequels because ripping sequels. But like I like what they did in the newest one with Mark Wahlberg, just because like okay, this guy's just in this universe. Now he's intersecting with these Autobots. Like I like that concept. Kind of like one of the best trilogies that I like the best as like a standalone type movie is like Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, because you've got three movies that are all wrapped around the same character, but all can stand alone. You know what I mean? And if they did,
I'll agree with you on that.
If they did something like that with Die Hard, like you've got one where Bruce Willis is going crazy on some Russians, but then you've got in the same universe like someone else that's doing something crazy like that, and then you're just changing it. I mean, you can call it Die Hard, but let John McCain die. He's 80 years old. Come on, guys.
It's embarrassing when you start getting into that.
That's actually a really good point that you just brought up. I think I was just thinking about the movies we're discussing, and that's a common theme with all of them. Think about Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and the Die Hard series. Each one of those movies could stand alone as a movie and not have anything to do with the others and still be a great movie. You could never watch any of the other movies. You could watch any Indiana Jones, any Star Wars, any Die Hard movie, and just watching that movie, you would really enjoy it. Doesn't have to be, it's not Lord of the Rings, which those were great movies, but you kind of need to know one before the next and the next. And I don't know. I think they perform well as adventure movies, it seems like.
Yeah, it was all these other movies that we're talking about. They're like the ones that don't work. I mean, even though they're not like super reliant on the movies that came before, they're like winking at you the entire time and like relying on nostalgia, being like, "Hey, just like in the old one." And there's like
I think of Ghostbusters too. That's a pretty good example. I think it refers back to the first Ghostbusters.
Constantly,
and just hangs on to what the first Ghostbusters was and doesn't really do its own thing well enough.
Yeah. Not bad though.
And I enjoyed Ghostbusters too.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is pretty good.
Wasn't as good.
No, not as good at all. By any stretch. All right, let's talk some Marvel here. Not too much to talk about. Just a couple announcements and non-announcements.
Rumors.
Yeah, and rumors that are being denied, starting with the Fantastic Four one. There was a rumor, actually, I think today, on this recording, as of this recording, that they were saying that, okay, there's a rumor that Marvel already has Fantastic Four back, and they're already starting to make a movie like from 2020. Already denied by 20th Century Fox and Marvel Studios. So that's not happening. I have mixed emotions on that too, because obviously if you got anywhere near our review or spoiler cast of Fantastic Four, or any other like time after that movie, I probably really reference how
not at all
upset that movie made me. But I still like Fantastic Four, and I hope that does happen one day. Not now though; it's too soon. Too soon to the disaster, But that's not happening, so let's move on. Something that is happening: Antman is getting a sequel. And so that was something hasn't been confirmed. A lot of people, like I was talking to Manisha, and she was like, wasn't that already happening? No. It was very uncertain whether that movie was getting a sequel. I kind of had that fear that like Ant-Man would happen and then it wouldn't be like referenced or like brought into the universe or get anything else ever again because of, kind of like the kind of troubled production at the beginning. But that's not the case at all, because like soon after the movie was released, we found out, oh, Ant-Man's gonna be in Civil War, and now Ant-Man's getting a sequel. And so good, because I like Ant-Man and I like Evangeline Lilly, and this movie's called Ant-Man and the Wasp, and so good.
I didn't see that coming.
yeah I mean they
teased the heck out of that
really hardcore. What do you think, Andrew?
I still haven't seen Ant-Man, so I have no opinion. And I'm into this. Maybe.
I can say definitively that I don't know.
That I'm into this.
Yeah, the first time I see Ant-Man could potentially be in the Avengers. I'm just kidding. I'll see it way before that. But yeah, that's good. What do you guys think about like Pan totally tanking? Like,
it sucks for me. I don't like that at all. Like anytime Hugh Jackman doesn't do something that succeeds, I get upset because he's my favorite actor. I like him so much, and so every time he does something that that doesn't do well, I'm like, oh man, because I'm always rooting for him. And so, I'm big on the Pan universe. I feel like it's awesome that we like I was like hoping that we'd have like a complete grasp of the story if you like took everything from it. If you could like link Pan to Peter Pan and then link Peter Pan to Hook, I was really hoping I'd be able to do that, but from what I hear, no. So
yeah.
Oh well.
I completely agree with exactly what you're thinking, and it's what I was thinking, except one thing. I saw this coming. Yeah. Honestly, I thought this movie did not look good. I thought Hugh Jackman is a great actor. I thought his character looked awful and did not think it fit Hook whatsoever. I've enjoyed Peter Pan. I mean, Hook was, one of my favorite movies growing up. I really enjoyed the old Disney classic cartoon. It's a great story, but I really didn't like the direction they were taking it. It just seemed weird. Like that's the best way I can describe it. And it just didn't sit well with me. So I'm not surprised, honestly. I really wish it had done better, but I'm not surprised it didn't do well.
Yeah. Oh, well, rest in peace.
Moving on.
Future Peter Pan movies that anyone out there wanted to make, because it's not going to happen for a good long while.
Probably not.
Which is fine. All right, moving on. Speaking of Peter Pan, the classic cartoon, this leads into my movie question. Aladdin just saw its Diamond Edition Blu-ray release this last Tuesday upon this recording. Really excited about that. Picked that up immediately. And it's surprising that it took so long for it to come out, because it's a lot of people's favorite Disney animated movie. A lot of people's favorite. No, it's not everyone's, but a lot of people love that movie. But it took so long for it to get its Blu-ray release. And my question is, what movies can you not believe aren't on Blu-ray or haven't got a recent release? It may take a while for you to think about it, and I know like I guess
I don't know which ones aren't on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I know this is totally like a me and Joe question, because we're like the Blu-ray people. I guess maybe only I am at this point, because he's a family man and I'm just whatever. But
good to know.
But I got a few here that I wanted to talk about. First and foremost, there's this little movie I like to call it's my favorite Bill Murray movie. What About Bob? I've been wanting to watch that movie, and it hasn't been released recently. It doesn't have a Blu-ray release, which is really weird. It's not like, oh my gosh, this will benefit so much from Blu-ray, but it's just isn't really around really. And I love that movie. I feel like it has a really big cult following because it's kind of random. I don't know. I think it's
borrowed the DVD to watch it recently.
Oh really? Okay.
It's the first time I'd seen it, but it was on DVD.
Good movie, right?
It was a good movie.
You like What About Bob, Andrew?
Yeah, I like What About Bob. I haven't seen it in a long bobbing time. But
release it on Blu-ray, then whatever.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I feel like that's a theme. Like,
you know what?
Comedies and
yeah, it is. They don't release a lot of
early '90s. Those kind of movies they don't get respect.
This could have been just when I was searching for it, but a while ago I was searching for Outlaw Star on Blu-ray, and I don't think they have Outlaw Star on Blu-ray.
They don't. They don't at all. A lot of these, I'm hoping for it because a lot of these old animes are getting Blu-ray releases these days.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping. I'm still crossing my fingers that one comes, but it doesn't seem like. I'm baffled at how little a lot of people will talk about Outlaw Star, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's so underrated. But anyways,
I just remembered what is my killer not on Blu-ray collection, and I'm not sure what the state of this is. It was so confusing. I went to buy the box set, and first of all, the rights are all confusing, but the Pink Panther series.
Oh, yeah.
That freaking series, they made, first of all, they made a bunch of Pink Panthers. I'm not talking about the new ones whatsoever. There's nothing to do with the new ones. The old 60s Pink Panther movies
are the best.
By far. But there's I think Return of the Pink Panther and maybe Revenge of the Pink Panther are have these weird rights that are owned by someone else. And so there's these box sets you buy and you see it on Amazon. It's set up where you have to buy a separate one and it's a completely different box and it's ugly as heck. And I don't think any of them are, I don't know if I'm right about this, but I don't think any of them are on Blu-ray. And if they are, there's one of them on Blu-ray. And some of them, it's hard to even find on DVD. And it's the most frustrating thing. These are classic movies. To me, this is classic Hollywood. It may not be for everyone, but these are classic movies, whether you like them or not. They're well made. They're funny to some people, at least. And they deserve to be represented in the right way. And they deserve to be able to be found easier. It's a frustrating thing when there's these movies we're talking about that there's no way to watch them properly.
Yeah. Because the thing is that when they release them on Blu-ray, you could think just get them digitally. But here's the thing, I
couldn't find them digitally.
Yeah, well, there's that. So that's a huge problem. A lot of times when a movie doesn't have a Blu-ray release, it also doesn't have a proper HD digital release. I'm in the phase right now where I really appreciate a digital copy because I do find it a good way of archiving a movie. I've always
you lose the freaking disc.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always going to be a bigger fan of popping in the Blu-ray disc because it looks the best. And I think it's the best way to watch a movie.
In case the internet goes out.
Yeah, if the internet freaking goes out. But that's the thing. If they don't usually if they don't have a Blu-ray release, they're not getting an HD digital release, and so
they get lost in time.
They lost in time. And here's another one I have. Andrew, let's unite. 7 Brides for 7 Brothers needs a freaking Blu-ray release. And here's the thing. I don't think it'll ever happen.
No.
Reason being that in this day and age, in this PC world we live in, that movie freaks people out because
he means politically correct, not personal computer.
Not personal computer, no. It's very the humor, they live in a world, this fantastical world is so sexist or whatever, but I honestly don't think the movie is sexist. I think that's the joke of the movie. I mean, that might sound bad, but I think this movie has its place in time, and it needs a Blu-ray release because it's such a good musical.
Oh, and that bothers me because it's a movie that is about the change of hearts. It's a movie that's about men going and taking women
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Back to their, like, you're going to be my wife. No choice. Hit him over the head, you know? And,
Yeah.
you know, capturing these women against their will.
Uh-huh.
And then the women singing with, you know, everyone's singing together, and the change of hearts that happens, you know? Like, you know, you can't treat a woman like that. You have to treat her like this. And those beautiful touch. That's where I learned how to treat women.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like you grab a woman like a sack of potatoes or whatever she says.
Yeah. Going court.
I mean, the thumping over the head's fine, but you better not grab a woman like
Dude,
that.
enough to go and see your girl. It's fun to go and shoot a gun or to catch a rabbit on the run. It's timeless.
Timeless, absolutely. And I watched it recently. That DVD copy looks like crap. Looks like freaking bull crap. There's noise all over the picture, all over the place. Release a good copy.
DVD copy of the VHS.
No, yeah, exactly. Like, it looks bad.
We need to be able to, as men, we need to be able to say sentences like, bless your beautiful hide.
Yes.
Bless your beautiful hide, wherever you
may be. Absolutely.
Let's take this back.
Let's do it. Let's
America.
Start the petition. Start the petition. Change.com. All right. Well, yeah, I was just wondering. Secondly, also some honorable mention, some animated movies that I can't believe don't have a release. A Goofy movie. I don't know when that's going to come. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I need that free. I went ahead and I bought the digital copy just because I'm like, I just need to watch it. And it looks like crap because obviously no HD release. And it's like as HD as it possibly can get, which isn't very good.
I don't know how much upscaling that'll really get though.
Oh, I think it could do a lot. Like, a lot of these animated movies look so crisp and beautiful in HD. Like Aladdin looks so good. But like, and I think a Goofy movie could look great if they cleaned it up.
I guess I'm just wondering how much better the source material actually is.
I don't know, but
I don't know.
They need to give it to me. But
they don't. It's not a digital HD. It's just digital SD.
Yeah, it's just digital SD. There's no HD to be had. And
hey, at least you have a digital copy to download.
Yeah,
I can't get digital Pink Panther.
Screwed. It's all right, buddy. Anyways, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about some TV. We don't have a lot to talk about, but
we got one thing.
Good. Tell us about it, Luke. I don't know anything about this.
I thought this was more funny than actually that interesting.
Okay, good.
But the former human being named Puff Daddy, I don't even know what he calls himself now, P. Diddy or Sean Diddy Combs, anyways,
there you go.
Is teaming up with ABC to help them produce a sitcom. Listen to me, sitcom about his life and him, quote unquote, hustling his way up the ladder of producing entertainment, music, movies, whatever. I don't know what all he's done, but you know, to make his ridiculous fortune that he has. I guess he does a lot of cologne and clothes. I don't know what he does, but the show is going to be called The Hustle, and it's going to be from the perspective of his former assistant. I guess it's the actual person who was his assistant. I don't know if they're helping or not, but as far as I know, he's like helping out with the project. And yeah, Rolling Stone wrote a whole article on it. So interesting, I guess. Funny.
A lot of humility.
Don't know
that Sean Combs has a lot of.
I'm really interested to see how much this makes fun of him. I guess he's clearly okay with that if he's working with ABC.
He has a sense of humor. I mean, I know that. I know he's not like, if someone makes fun of him, he's like up in arms. But
he's not Kanye.
He's
the anti-Kanye.
Very cocky though. Still in the same breath. But interesting. Yeah, sure. I mean, it reminds me of
just a sitcom. Like, I can see this happening. Like Empire. I think of Empire. Like, I can see a show like that maybe being made,
or freaking
about
movie,
a fictional character that is like him. But it's interesting that he's working with ABC to make a sitcom. Like, I think of all the sitcoms and like how this sounds like it's addressing, you know, a fairly serious subject. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this.
The classic phrase that I utter to myself when I hear about certain TV shows being announced. I'm meant to sit through not only episodes and episodes and episodes of this, but seasons of this sort of thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, I haven't seen it, so it could be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So who knows? But still, it's strange.
definitely.
Yeah. Got any? You looking forward to that, Andrew?
Yeah, I've set my DVR just to all time slots on ABC I'm recording, just so I don't miss it.
Very good.
ABC is, I need to come up with an acronym because it's just destroying television, one show at a time. And it used to be such a glorious home for so many good shows, and now I just can't stand it. But this could all change with The Hustle.
Yeah, I only really go to ABC for their Marvel shows, which I enjoy.
Something.
But yeah, that would be something. All right, Andrew, you got the TV question, man.
Yeah, this actually came. I posed the question to my wife, and my wife came up with this question, and so I put it here. This is her question. I'm just giving credit to where credit is due. If you, Jordan, if you, Luke, if I, Andrew, was the star of a TV show, what would our character be, and what would the setting of our TV show be, Jordan?
What would be our desire?
Yeah,
What you mean?
Just like what would
it
be? I mean, what would it be about? What would it be like?
Like if we had all our wishes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well,
honestly,
maybe realistically, like, what do you think it would be, Jordan? What would you be cast as?
Like, what do you think I would be cast as? Like, honestly, I've always wanted to be inserted into like a very serious show, not like very serious, but kind of serious, and as like
what
not,
show?
As not like Heroes and like Lost.
That's a good example.
And maybe even The Walking Dead. As like, I wanted it to be like, because I always get kind of frustrated with like comic relief because most people don't know how to do it. It's just like because that's the thing. Like, in a lot
I know how to do it.
Yes, because like in a lot of comic relief, it's like you have these extremely serious people who aren't. No one is that serious. It makes you feel like it's unrealistic because it's so serious. And then you have these absurdly unrealistic like jokes of people just the way they can act as contrast. When it's just like, no, put a normal person in there who can be serious but has a very strong sense of humor about things. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. is usually good at that sort of thing. I'd like to be inserted into a world like that. Like Heroes, honestly, like I'm watching, I didn't even mention this, I'm watching Heroes Reborn, and you know, I'm enjoying it, but like as much as like I kind of used to enjoy Heroes, I guess, until it gets to a potentially very disappointing end of the season. But who knows? But like when Zachary Levi was casted in Heroes, I was like, that's perfect. He could inject some like humor into this, not like Hiro Nakamura, like and like being like this ridiculously goofy character, but someone who's like has a story arc, has some real depth to him, but is also lighthearted and fun. Like that's kind of always the character I've wanted to play in a movie or in a TV show. I've always thought that would just be fun. I feel like TV needs more characters like that. Yeah, or like how Glenn used to be at least. But you know, he's just very serious all the time. But no, that didn't happen with Zachary Levi. He's one of the most serious people on that show right now, and he's doing good. He's doing a fine job, but I was just disappointed because I kind of wanted a more Zachary Levi kind of character, and I'm sure if he heard that, he'd cringe at that sort of statement. But I don't know. That's just what my expectations were. How about you? Either of you?
Be more specific. I think I would ideally. It would be like a mind-bending drama. I think I'd be in like a drama where something is seriously wrong with me. Like I have like some type of disorder. That would probably be the show I would be in. Would be like,
what kind of thing's wrong with you, Andrew? What do you?
I don't know, but it would be something to where like you know, maybe I never blinked, or like, you know, something that was just like I would
Dexter
have
reboot.
Dexter 2.
Dexter 2. Yeah,
I could see something potentially like the lovable douche, you know, like someone who's like kind of like a Gregory House-esque character where I'm like hyper intelligent, but I let everybody know about it because I'm arrogant or whatever.
That's The Mentalist. That is that show.
So yeah, maybe The Mentalist. I would be inserted into that, and I'd have like lines where you'd be like, "Man, I hate that I'm enjoying that guy's character" or something. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like Sherlock too.
Yeah,
kind of how his character is.
Yeah,
exactly. He's a genius, and he's like maybe he has Asperger's, but who knows? But he's like lovable.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's realistically probably the character that I would be cast for. Something that's in between like drama and like you're laughing because you're just like seriously guy. Like you're a fool. Something like that. What about you, Luke?
I always thought that I fit very well into Jim from The Office. Like the facial expressions to the camera, the what?
Like kind of the lovable straight man almost.
The backhanded comedy.
Uh-huh.
Just very sarcastic. Like it's kind of who I am as a person. So I think it would fit well. Jim from The Office, like that's the best example. Maybe even, well, he's a little too goofy. I was thinking Andy from Parks and Rec, but he's a little goofier than I think I probably am. But just sarcastic, like, I don't know, snide remarks during conversation.
What kind of show would you like to insert yourself into?
The Office.
Like something like
that.
The Office,
that would
just
be.
The Office.
I think I could do that. I think I could pull that off. It just. I like that kind of show so much, anyways, and I don't have the chops for a real show. At least in a show that requires like professional acting.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Not that they're not great, but comedy. It's a different form of acting.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
It like welcomes more like you could just be over the top, or you can be completely like even keel, and you could just sell a joke. You know what I mean?
It's subtlety. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you for answering this question, Taylor. Great question.
Good question, Taylor. That was great.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on to some video games. A few news items here. First and foremost, we finally had the PS4 price drop. It dropped $50 to get a bundle, so it's got a good parity right now. Yeah, $349.99. It's got a bunch of bundles out right now for that price. Notably, I guess the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection bundle, which is $349. Good timing. I mean, they're kind of struggling with their holiday releases, and so I feel like this is a good time for them to drop that price.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of exclusives coming out.
No.
So yeah, I think it is good timing.
Very good
timing. They need to make a big push to just continue their lead, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good marketing move. I mean, it was good for them to hold out for a while because they really didn't need to drop the price for a while, but now I feel like it's a good time to do it. And so yeah, good on them. Go play video games. Next up, something that I thought was weird, so I put it on here. There's going to be a Friday the 13th video game. I don't know when this is coming out. I forgot. It was announced, but I forgot. Whatever. I don't know what this game's gonna be. I saw the trailer. All it is that monologue from Miss Voorhees. And I don't know if you're gonna play as Jason. I don't know if you're gonna be playing as the campers or whatever, the people at Camp Lake Crystal Lake or whatever. But I don't know. Weird. There's not a lot of video games like this, I would say. Like, I feel like Until Dawn was like the only another slasher type game I could think of, and it's kind of weird timing now that one is like it's kind of like a throwback to 80s horror that we have this one now coming out. And so I don't know. It's probably going to be garbage, but
it seems like a series that like I think we can both agree, like indie games right now are on the rise. Like there's a huge indie game, like just collaboration like between Sony and Microsoft. Like they get these indie games, and there's just a big marketplace now. You can buy them digitally. It's different than it has been in the past, and I think that's the place that a game like this I think would fit. And I think that's the place that something like that should go to. They should find a small studio to make games like this, and there's just it to me, it's a game that needs like some heart and some some grittiness, to it. Not a huge budget and a bunch of money and make it all this and that. Like it needs to be, I don't know, pixel arted or some interesting style that like you do something and it's a $20 game, $15 game. I don't see how you're going to make much money off this making
full blown $60 big release.
It just doesn't fit right.
It will be. I don't know. We'll see. It might be random. It might be a piece of crap, which it probably is going to be garbage. But who knows?
It could be good.
Could be good. You never know. Alien Isolation.
Two things could happen.
It could be the Alien Isolation of this or whatever.
Which was good, I guess, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even played it, but I'm pretty. It's quality. I will say that, but whether or not it's great. But anyways, so lastly for news, this is something that's probably going to happen. A lot of times, with Nintendo is really bad at leaking things these days, like and having things in their like code or like a lot of that Smash Bros stuff. A lot of that Smash Bros stuff got leaked because it just was in the source code, and now there was this weird thing that like people are seeing in the Nintendo eShop is for the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, which a lot of fans have been wanting this. I've been wanting this. I feel like that game doesn't hold up very well visually in standard definition. It needs an upres, and I think it's a great game, but I feel like it needs an upres, and that's awesome if they're doing that. It could very well be this misleading thing, and it could just be like some retroactive release onto the eShop of just the normal version like they did with Super Mario Galaxy 2 and Punch-Out and Metroid Trilogy. But I don't know. I think it could happen, and I think it should happen, and I really do hope it does. So we'll see. I know you guys aren't Nintendo fans, but I wanted to bring that up because I think it's really exciting for me. I'll get it in a heartbeat because I think the HD re-release of Wind Waker, which is a over 10-year-old game that was released on the GameCube, looks beautiful. Like I think it's stunning to look at. And so I really hope that if they do as good a job with Twilight Princess. Yes, sir.
I totally get it. I mean, it's like Master Chief Collection coming to Xbox One. It was like,
it's huge.
Thank God. Like I really needed that to be able to play those games. Like those games easily slip into the past, just like the movies we were talking about. Halo 1 becomes a game that becomes really hard to play. Like I certainly don't have an Xbox original, not Xbox One.
Yeah.
And my 360 is now packed away and will probably eventually be in the garbage or something. And so I will have no way of playing, Halo 1, 2, 3 unless I had this. So I completely understand.
Yeah, I have such an archival nature. I mean, that's where my love of Blu-rays come from, because I'm like, well, I love this movie. I want the best possible version that I can see of this movie, and I want it to look as good as possible. And so when I want to watch it, I know I can watch it. It'll look amazing. And like that's kind of how I feel sometimes about games. I'm like, I appreciate HD collections and I appreciate HD remakes. A lot of people say it's lazy, but I say I'm like, great if it's another way that makes it easier to revisit this game and I can go back to it being like, this is the best possible way I can play this. I love that. Like Kingdom Hearts, these HD re-releases, I love that so much. So, and I appreciate it. So I hope it happens with these Nintendo games I love so much.
And the digital games you can't lose. Like I have so many other games.
There you go. But anyways, that's our news. So Luke, what's your video game question?
Video game question is, what movie series like Mad Max, like Star Wars, just would fit well for a game, and deserves to have a game because it's the style of movie that would work well in a game, and given the right developer, given the right budget, like it could produce a great game.
And I assume like one that hasn't already had some sort of
no.
All right. Let's see. You go first, Luke. I need to think of something.
I mean, the one that jumps off the bat to me is Indiana Jones. Like it writes itself basically in an adventure game that, maybe
to be so bad.
maybe doesn't follow exactly the storylines of the movies, but it just Uncharted, Tomb Raider, like these games have shown it's so easy to, well, not so easy, but it's easy to make a game that people enjoy. Like, it's not easy to make these games, but you make these games and they're enjoyable, and just the concept, the adventure, and whether it's, you know, linear or open world, like those type of games just are good games to make and will sell and are enjoyable to play. And Indiana Jones is a super, you know, fun environment. I think of him running out of the cave with the boulder coming behind him in Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like that movie writes itself. The game writes itself. Like, I can see a linear adventure of you picking out treasures, kind of like Tomb Raider. And I don't know. I would buy it immediately.
I think that's a great way. Like, if people are like, "Oh man, like they miss a franchise and like that is not getting revived, or if it is getting revived, it's being done poorly, like Indiana Jones." Yeah, make a video game out of it and get to live in that world. For me, I can't come up with it. I think I mentioned this one before. It's kind of like one of my dream movie tie-in games. If I don't know how many of you guys have played Bully. Is a Rockstar game where it's like you were a kid in a private school. I think they should take that style, that game, and they should put the Harry Potter universe in there. And I think it would work perfectly. I feel like that is exactly what it would need to be, to have like the free roam, but not too much of a free roam. It kind of has some restrictions to it. You have curfew, and you have like things like that are keeping you from doing certain things, and you have like the whole relationship aspect with the different students. You go around and you recognize people. I feel like that would be, and you go to different classes and you like play things, and then the stories interwoven. I feel like that would be perfect for that, like, because there has been Harry Potter games, but they're all garbage other than like the Lego ones, which are all, you know, fine at least. But yeah, that's mine. Andrew, do you have any ideas as to this other than like your bladder about to explode because you got a piece so bad? Oh, it's done.
I do. You know what I think would be like an interesting, you know, when you get to like a certain age, okay, hear me out. Like, instead of doing it like this movie or that movie, like what if you did like a movie that, or a video game that was like the greatest hits of an actor or something? So you had like a game that was made with all of the universes of like every Leonardo DiCaprio movie ever made. Or, like,
Oh, gosh.
you had like the like Christopher Nolan, like something that incorporated, you know, whether it's Inception or whether it's like, he doesn't really need it, but if it was something a little bit more outside the box, you know, like this is Angelina Jolie, this is her upcoming film, and this is like an Angelina Jolie video game where you are Angelina Jolie. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe something a little bit more.
Sora, Donald and Goofy into the world of Christopher Nolan, and that way you can explore all the Christopher Nolan movies with Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the Kingdom Hearts world. There you go.
There's something there. I can't put my finger on it yet, but
So basically Kingdom Hearts, but just in a different world.
Yeah.
Just
Leonardo DiCaprio is wielding the Keyblade.
Yeah, you have some Great Gatsby Keyblade of some sort. Yeah,
Exactly.
that would
That's
be great.
actually a really good tie-in there. I think it could be good. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is the king of Christmas Day movie releases. You know, always got to release something in December. So I'm gonna start calling him.
Is that one movie getting released?
Yeah.
What?
Is that one movie getting released in December? That movie looks so good, by the way.
No, they moved it up to February, I think.
That trailer looks so good.
Yeah, it was. I think it was December. Then it went January. Then it went February. But
Yeah.
you know, he's always. I'm gonna call him Father Christmas because he always does something good around the holidays.
Merry Christmas.
I
Father
think
Christmas.
Inception is quite an idea. That would
Deliver Santa Claus, the video game.
Yeah.
Free open.
The Santa Claus, the
Grand Theft
Timon?
Auto meets Santa Claus. I don't know.
yeah, that'd be great.
The Santa Claus.
So much you can do. I mean, the whole open world, you have to have the engine from No Man's Sky to go around the world, and have the entire world open to you. Anyway,
Everyone should have that.
I think that's the winner right there. Santa Claus, video game, Tim Allen, re-release, IMAX 3D Santa Claus.
It's decided. Santa Claus, the video game. All right, guys, that's our show. Awesome question, Luke. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting us in whichever way you are supporting us, whether that's just thinking about us during the day. How nice of you.
Let us know what you think about our questions.
Yeah,
what
let
your
us know.
answers are.
Or ask us some questions of your own.
Oh, yeah.
Even that. I don't know.
Ooh.
Who knows? Do all sorts of stuff like that.
Follow the Alicia Keys official podcast. Link in the bio.
That's true.
I keep them falling.
Leave it 6 stars.
Nailed it. All right, guys, if you want to keep in touch with us, you can follow us on Twitter at MTGPod. Joseph's doing a great job updating that. He's done it in a long time. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can follow us on YouTube, where this is being streamed right now on youtube.com/MTGpodcast. Yeah.
Sorry for our one viewer who's seen the very end of this.
Sorry about that. Let's catch us the next time. Comment below. Let us know whatever
Indeed.
you want us to know and ask us questions. Be involved. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Andrew, I release you. You have no power here.
Turbo Man.
Ray Crow, or he says.
All right. Good night and good luck.
See
Good
ya.
night.